For all 92 teams at the start of the season, I predicted who's going to be their key player and their best new signing. And today we're going to go through them, see if I got any right, see if I was absolutely miles off it. But we're starting with the Championship, so let's get in to the video. Yes, lads, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we've got a new little setup here, ready to go through all of the teams. So on the left-hand side here, we've got the actual key player and the actual best signing. Now, if you think there's someone different than who I've gone for, then please do get in the comments and let me know. When I looked at everything, impact involved, this is who I went for. And then we've got my predictions on the right hand side here. So if we get straight into this, starting with Blues, and just as a heads up, I have gone for my prediction and actual prediction just to show, like, for example, Hull. If I predicted Hull to have a defender as their best signing or whatever, something like that, that is because I thought they were going to finish 23rd. So that's the reason why, just to add that context, you know what I mean? So anyway, Blues starting off here then. So in terms of who I thought the key player was going to be, I think this is pretty close, to be fair. I went for whoa, did I just hit the accent there? Christoph Clara. And the reason why is because I did think that Blues were going to struggle a little bit and they're going to have to rely on their centre-backs to pull out the goods, be solid and make sure that they don't allow any team sort of free reign. I think he did that to an extent, but it was a close second. This man, though, for me, Jay Stansfield, a man that the pressure was piling on. 11 goals, 6 assists, very decent for Jay Stansfield. So nearly right with this one, but Stansfield stood out a bit more to me. And then in terms of the best signing, well, I think I've got this one massively wrong because Tommy Doyle, even though he's played 42 games, 4 assists, ultimately not the impact that I think any of us thought he was going to have in the Championship. I remember this signing getting made and thinking, why the hell is he gone to Blues? Like, he could have gone to a Premier League team, could have gone anywhere. Not the case. Disappointing season, I would say, for what he should have provided. And I was completely right at the start of the season. Tommy Doyle, man, letting everyone down. So who actually got it? Well, I went for Marvin Dushk. Honestly, Christoph Clara, Dush. These names are struggling me. It's too early in the morning. I'm filming this one in the morning. I normally film in the afternoon. I'm going to have another sip of coffee. But 11 goals, 1 assist. I mean, that's a decent impact, and he is a good player. He's a definite good player. So yeah, I think this one was close. I think it was relatively close in terms of Christoph Clara. Tommy Doyle, not so much, but let's move on to the next club. So now we've got Blackburn Rovers. So they actually finished 20th. I went 21st. So I knew the scope. I knew where they were going to finish, which is good. So this should be a bit more accurate. Now, Todd Cantwell, 29 games only. I know he's been hit with a couple of injuries. That's the disappointment here for me. 5 goals, 3 assists. I thought if they were going to stay up, they're going to need a bit of magic, a bit of a talisman to just come in and just do things that other players can't. That's why I went for Todd Cantwell. In actual fact, I think Yuki Ohashi has actually won it. 10 goals, 1 assist. Been a key constant all throughout. Every time I've seen Blackburn play, and I'll be honest, it's not as much as, of course, the teams near the top because they get way more TV time. He's been good. He has been good. He's been a live wire, and I think he's definitely going to be the key player for them. So close in this one, but Todd Cantwell, lack of game time, let him down. And to be honest with you, I think it's actually the same for the best signing. So I went for Lewis Miller to fill that gap at right back for Callum Britton, who obviously went to Middlesbrough. And I actually think he was doing really well and then picked up an injury. I believe he's out till October, is what I saw on when I did my research, which absolutely gutted for him because genuinely looked to be a really good player, really good signing, fit the mould. And Blackburn fans, let me know on this. I think I would have been right if he hadn't have got injured. I don't know. Let me know. But I have gone for Ryoya Morishita as the best new signing. 4 goals, 9 assists. Good impact. When you look at the goals, the assists that keep Blackburn in the league, these two men, Hashi and Morishita, the standouts really. So that's who I went for. And again, I think this one just let down by injuries and lack of game time in certain areas. So yeah, decent goes though. Decent goes. So we'll move on now to Bristol City. The only club, by the way, that don't allow you to get the images. So all of these images here are from the official website. The only club that make it difficult. So Bristol City, sort yourselves out. Sort your website out. But let's be honest here, and I haven't actually even put in Scott Twine's goals and assists, so we'll do that whilst I'm talking. But I mean, you can already see it on the left. I went for Scott Twine, I went for Radek Vitek, and I think I've absolutely nailed this. Now, my beef with Scott Twine, I say beef, my disappointment with him was always the fact that, Scott, mate, you're a great player. You've got to score more goals, got to get more assists. And he did that from day one in the Championship. And he was fantastic this season. I really do think he was. But at the same time, again, I still feel like he has another level to go to. I really do. So be interested to see him next season, but nailed that one down completely. And Radek Vitek, of course, on loan from Manchester United, superb. Now, if you ever see a goalkeeper in this list, so it's games played still, where it says goals, I realised this as soon as I'd made it, that, oh, there's nowhere to put clean sheets. So goals equate to goals/clean sheets. Okay, make it make sense, but it does. But 12 clean sheets, really good season in the Championship. Really, really solid goalkeeper. Where he goes next, not too sure. Well, I'm sure that will come up in the summer around transfers and stuff, but very solid. Got this one spot on. And again, though, if Bristol City fans can think of a better new signing or key player, get in the comments, because keen to see. But as far as I saw it, I got this one absolutely spot on. Now then, Charlton, and I went for key player-wise, Connor Coventry, and best new signing, Charlie Cowman. So I don't believe I've got either of these two right. Now, in terms of who the key player actually was, if we're going to start there, well, I've gone for Lloyd Jones because I just feel as though he was a bit of a rock at the back for them. But again, I'm going to be honest, it was really hard to decipher Charlton's season and see exactly who was the key player. I know Lloyd Jones is going to be up there for a lot of Charlton fans, but it was hard to decipher. I think Connor Coventry, as a season for him, how has it gone? I don't think it's gone great. I don't think many people's seasons for Charlton have gone amazing, though, in all fairness to him. But I don't think it's gone great. I really thought that he would step up to this level and absolutely shine, but not quite the case. Regardless, though, in terms of best new signing, Charlie Cowman, 7 goals, 1 assist. He picked up towards the end, but there was a lot of hype. You have that season last year at Leyton Orient. You come up to the Championship with Charlton. And I just, like a lot of other people, just thought this guy's going to be ready to take centre stage and just absolutely smash it. Especially as well when you've got the experience of someone like a Matty Godden around the club, around the training ground, where Matty Godden, he's so good in terms of his instinctiveness. Charlie Cowman could learn a lot from Matty Godden, and maybe he has, right? But I really thought that jump from League One to Championship would have really done him. I'm honestly, I'll mention a couple that I'm very surprised about. This is one of them. It really is. I've gone for Sonny Carey, who only managed to get 9 goal contributions in total, so one more than Charlie Cowman. But I just think impact-wise, Sonny Carey, I think he was a decent signing. But again, Charlton fans, get in those comments. Is there a better signing? Because it was hard to see. It really was with Charlton, but just happy to be, still in the Championship, building blocks for next year. So there we go. Not the closest when it came to Charlton. Now then, over to the league champions, Coventry City. Well, in terms of who I thought their key player was going to be, I actually chose 2, but I've gone with Matt Grimes. So I went for Grimes and Rudoni because basically my whole point was, if Grimes gets going, that allows Rudoni to do what he does. And so I've gone for Matt Grimes overall because without Matt Grimes, I just don't feel as though Rudoni gets that freedom to then pick up the ball in the half spaces, turn, drive, do all those things he does. So Matt Grimes is the key player. And to be quite honest with you, in a title-winning season, I think you could argue Matt Grimes probably was the key player as well, the actual one. But I have gone for Haji Wright instead. Main reason for it, I guess, is just in terms of an impact, big moment, scoring goals. Yes, he goes missing sometimes, but at the same time, some of his goals have been absolutely crucial. Now, I could, if I wanted to, have put Carl Rushworth in the key player because this man is a phenomenon. So, best new signing, I said Carl Rushworth. And the reason why I said it, and I absolutely got it spot on, is I said that Coventry City, when was the last time you looked at a Cov squad and thought, their goalkeeper is class? Now, bearing in mind that a goalkeeper is going to be one of the main reasons why you win a league title. When was the last time you saw that? I said Kieran Westwood. Kieran Westwood. Some people watching this video might not even know who Kieran Westwood is, which is mental, by the way, but that's true. So if Carl Rushworth can step up to the plate, be that goalkeeper Coventry need him to be, they're going to do really well. And exactly, it's exactly the case. 17 goals, 17 clean sheets for Carl Rushworth. Absolutely immense. The amount of points this man has saved them Maybe I should have just put him as the key player as well. But regardless, when it comes to Cov, I got Rushworth spot on. And I think Matt Grimes is in the top 3 most important players for Coventry throughout the season as well. So absolutely nailed Coventry. Very happy with that one. Now, in terms of Derby, this was difficult. So my key player was Ebu Adams, who went to Portsmouth in January. So yeah, I mean, he still played 26 games for them. I'm sure, it wasn't like a completely awful shout at the time. I really thought he would be someone that would do very well for Derby. In terms of who the key player actually is, well, I've gone for Joe Ward, and I'm very keen to see Derby fans' take on this because, and I know I'm using the old badge, but it's because you can't see the other badge, lads. We've been through this in the comments. But Joe Ward, I think he's had a very good season. And when I look at who else has had good seasons, I can't pick one player more than him that's had a more impressive, consistent, solid season for Derby. So get in the comments, let me know. But obviously, instantaneously, miles off it with Ebu Adams because he's left the club halfway through. Now, in terms of best new signing, this was very interesting because you've got I'll call it the slightly more budget signing in Carlton Morris. And you've got Patrick Adjumang, who, of course, I believe was their record transfer. Now, Adjumang, 10 goals, 3 assists. Carlton Morris, 12 goals, 2 assists. So they're very similar in numbers. And bearing in mind as well that, Adjumang came back from I don't want to say a serious injury, but he had to come back in. He really did. So looking at these two, I think you could make the argument for Adjumang. I've gone for Carlton Morris, though. I just feel as though a bit more consistent throughout the season. And again, I know obviously the injuries for Adjumang at the start of the season, but very interesting times. Next season, I think Derby are going to be in a great position. I really do. Adjumang, I reckon he's going to be the key player next year, hands down. Had a season to get used to English football and he'll go and smash it. So I was close on this one in terms of the new signing. I thought it would be one of their new strikers. Like a lot of people, though, I thought Adjumang was going to outshine Morris, and I don't think that's the case. Now then, Hull City, who, as I film this, have just got to Wembley for the playoff final. So, in terms of what I thought, well, I thought Liam Miller is going to go on and be their key player, and Semi Ajayi was going to go on and be their best new signing. Now, Leon Miller, I thought a bit of brilliance, a bit of magic from him at key points could just save them from staying up. That was my whole argument, is that he can save them staying up. They're obviously going to be near the relegation zone, as it was for Ollie McBurney as well. But again, I thought Leon Miller is going to be that guy. Just that guy for them, that just does it all. Now they're going to Wembley. But that was my thought process there. Key player, actually, Ollie McBurney, 18 goals, 7 assists. Joe Geldhart as well. Shout out to him. He could have also been it. And Matt Crooks. Honestly, there's so many standout players for Hull this season. I've gone for McBurney because I just feel as though his quality has just sort of like spread throughout the team. And the fact that he's still so good. I remember when he moved, everyone was a little bit like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, he's been at Spain. Did he do very well at Spain? Was he good in Spain? He's got a tan. Nah, he came back and proved everyone that he is still an elite level striker for championship level. So credit to Ollie McBurney. Now, Semi Ajayi, I thought this was just a clever piece of business. I thought when he came in, and bearing in mind, there hasn't been many signings for Hull this season, but when he came in, he was going to be a rock at the back. Really, really help Hull in terms of, like winning big headers, a solid player. And, I'm sure he's done all right in those 22 games, but without a shadow of a doubt, Ollie McBurney, and again, Joe Geldhart, a fantastic season, but these two completely outshined. The best new signing for Hull, you could argue, is the manager, because they've been that good. So, in this one, miles off it with Ajayi, close with Miller. Miller's still had a very good season, I feel as though, but Ollie McBurney has stolen the show. So we'll move on now to Ipswich, who also have got automatic promotion similar to Coventry. And when doing my research on this one, I found it very interesting. So I went for Jayden Philogene-Bidace, who was just going to have a season in the Championship, absolutely smash it. I think he's done he's done all right. 13 goals, 2 assists. I did expect more, but he's done good enough. I still think it was a decent shout for him. But in terms of who the key player actually is, have a look at this man here. Christian Walton, 16 clean sheets, 38 games, and I've seen him make some big saves for Ipswich. Now, is it a bit crazy that you'd say that Coventry and Ipswich, the best players for them, have been the goalkeeper? Maybe, But at the same time, how many points has this man saved Ipswich and how many points has Carl Rushworth saved Coventry? All of those points have got you promoted. So genuinely, the goals are so important. Of course they are. Jack Clark as well, another player that could have been the key player. I've gone for Christian Walton. Now, obviously, this is based on me seeing a few highlights, me watching a couple of Ipswich games, and also stats. So, Ipswich fans, get in the comments. Have I got this one right or have I got it wrong? Because I genuinely think he is a great shout for it. Now, in terms of the best new signing, though, there was only ever going to be one man for me. There weren't many new signings for Ipswich, in all fairness. There weren't many. Well, there was, but in terms of who stood out to me, it was this man here. You could have gone for, I forget how you say his name, Egeli. You could have gone for him and thought, oh, he's going to come in and do really well. But no, Azor Matusiwa, an absolute rock in the middle, great player. And yeah, there's no need to talk on this one. He has just been fantastic from the first game of the season to the last. Great signing. And I even think he'll be able to cut it in the Prem. So there you go. Now then, Leicester City up next. And in terms of the key player prediction, well, I went for Abdul Fatawu, and I think just by the skin of his teeth, if anyone can claim it for Leicester, it's Abdul Fatawu. 16 goal contributions in 44 games in a relegated side. And I know there was a points deduction as well, but I think it's good enough. I do. Do I think he goes missing? Do I think he's a bit inconsistent at times? Yes, but at the same time, though, I still stick by it. If there's going to be a spark in this Leicester team, it's this man here. And I think I got that one pretty spot on. Weirdly, I actually think you could argue that Jordan James, who I've gone for best signing, could actually go on to be the key player as well, because he was fantastic for them at points. He really, really was. 11 goals, 4 assists. Now, I mean, Abdul Fatawu, nailed it. I went for Azimir Begovic, who played 12 times for Leicester this season. And the reason being was because at the time, and bearing in mind, when I filmed this video, we're still in August. It's the end of August. So any signings that arrived after that, I obviously missed out on. I'm not actually sure if Jordan James was after that or not, to be honest. I think he was. But I looked at Begovic and thought, he's going to be their first choice in the Championship. One more season just to keep Leicester around, push for the playoffs is where I thought they'd be. I thought they'd come 7th. And I thought Begovic would be a great shout for that. But obviously, no, he wasn't involved that much this season, which understandable, can get it. But yeah, Jordan James claims the best new signing. And as I say, could maybe even make the argument for being the key player as well. So Jordan James absolutely done me there, because Azimir Begovic, what was I thinking? From the bottom of the league to the top then, and we've got Middlesbrough, who did come in 5th position. I went for 6th. I knew they'd be round the playoffs, so bear that in mind with these suggestions. Now, this is an easy one. Hayden Hackney was my key player, and he absolutely was the key player, wasn't he? What a season it's been for Hayden Hackney, proving once again that this man is ready to take that next step to the Premier League. And Middlesbrough, now that Hull are in the final, no disrespect to Hull, if you can get past Southampton, maybe he'll be playing for Middlesbrough in the Premier League. So we'll have to see on that one. But 40 games, 6 goals, 7 assists. Very solid season for Hayden Hackney. And it's the same in terms of down here. So I actually thought that Kante was going to partner Hayden Hackney and show that he's good enough for the Premier League. Actually, not the case. The young lad has gone out on loan to St. Etienne, only making 5 appearances before January. Understandable. Get it. Fair enough. Goes out on loan. Not quite ready yet, but still looks to be a decent prospect. And he's done all right at St. Etienne, by the way. He's done all right. But in actual fact, who was the best signing? Well, I'm looking at this man here. Adlison Malanda. This man, to me, shows Rolls-Royce potential of centre-back. Really, seriously, I think this guy has got so much potential to go to that top level and be a top player. So we'll have to see where his future lies if Middlesbrough don't go up, but certainly the best signing. I believe that he came in from January after the MLS season finished and has just been cemented as a rock at the back for them. I know he'd signed previously from Charlotte. It's all a bit complicated how it all works and when he arrived, but regardless, in terms of an impact since arriving back from Charlotte anyway, because I know he signed and went out on loan, this man has been phenomenal. So it was only going to be one choice for me, but nailed it with Hayden Hackney. But again, quite an easy one, isn't it? It's quite an easy one. So moving on now then to Millwall. And this is an interesting one. So my key player prediction was Japhet Tanganga. Understandably, I just thought this man is going to be... Because again, I thought that Millwall were going to come near the playoffs. I thought they'd maybe on the final day have a shout and not quite get there. And Japhet Tanganga, for me, rock at the back, exactly who you want. Could you imagine the defence with Japhet Tanganga in? It would be unbelievable. Obviously, not the case. And he moved to Sheffield United very early into the season after I made these predictions. You win some, you lose some. Who was it actually? Well, I've gone for Femi Aziz. And I think this man is, he's had a fantastic season. Where his future will now lie is very, very interesting. And I cannot wait to bring you some transfer content as the season comes to an end. I'm just waiting for it all to settle down and finish, and then I'm going to get straight into transfers, which I love, by the way. But this man here is going to be a man that a lot of clubs are interested in, and he's certainly been it. 11 goals, 7 assists, very solid season for him. Now, best new signing prediction was Alfie Doherty. I just thought if this man can stay fit on that left-hand side, what's not to like? At the time as well, Tanganga was still there, so I thought, what a solid defence they're going to have. And again, it just was one of those things where he just didn't really get up to speed, did he? And again, injuries, I know. 5 assists for him. It's not a bad return. He's certainly not looking at it now like, he was awful. He's been awful. I think it's just unfortunate. I really do. And it'll be interesting to see how he gets on next season. And then in terms of who the best new signing actually was, well, I've gone for Caleb Taylor. And I just think he's a bit of a rock at the back for them. Very solid end to the season as well. 3 goals, 2 assists. But also let me know if this man here, Japhet Tanganga, stayed at the club, would Millwall have made it to Wembley? Very keen to know. Would Millwall have made it into the automatic promotion race? I mean, you look at him and think, well, he messed up. If he was ever going to stay at Millwall for one more season, it was this season here. But anyway, keen to know that in the comments. Please do let me know. Moving on to Norwich. And this was actually difficult. I'm not going to lie. This was difficult in terms of who to choose as a key player. Now, they actually came 9th. I thought they'd come 3rd. Now, key player prediction was I can't say this man's name. Josh Sargent. Now, I thought he was going to be fantastic for them. And going to be completely honest, 24 games, 8 goals, 3 assists. That's not bad considering that the geezer literally wanted to leave the club from minute 1 this season. So I do actually really think that he still had the potential to do it. I see the vision. Just, his head was gone. It wasn't at Norwich City anymore. Now, he's obviously gone to Toronto FC in the MLS. Now, in terms of who it actually was, well, I've gone for Pele Matson. And again, Norwich fans, do let me know in the comments, because again, you were so poor at the start of the season, finished so well. It's almost like, well, how do you identify who was the key player throughout the whole season, but who had the biggest impact? I think this lad is a player. So let me know if I've got that one correct. Now, in terms of the best new signing, I went for Papa Diallo, who looked like he came in, and again, Norwich signed a lot of unknowns, didn't they? Start of the season, it was a lot of unknown younger players. Now, he looked like he was going to be a left winger who was like absolutely high flying, really difficult to play against. But then it looks as though he went further down the pitch. It's a difficult one, so never quite really worked. 11 games, 4 assists, which is good, but 11 games didn't hit the heights I thought he would do. So in terms of who was the best new signing, I know the goalkeeper's been decent at times, but how could I ignore this man here? Mohamed Toure. Now, 12 games, 10 goals, 3 assists, 13 goal contributions in 12 games. That is unbelievably solid. And I think the end to his season, Norwich fans, let me know in the comments, are you excited to see what he's going to do next season? Because that is a very solid finish to a game, a football season. It really is. So, again, this one pretty much got it completely wrong, actually. I was going to say a little bit. No. I just got this one wrong. But again, a lot of people got Norwich wrong, full stop this season. So I won't go too hard on myself. Now, moving on then to Oxford in terms of key player. Now, Oxford fans, let me know in the comments here, because I don't know what really happened. So I went for Tyler Goodrum. Now, 14 games, 2 goals, 1 assist. I mean, it's not great, is it? It's not great. What happened here? Injured? I couldn't see anything. I'm not going to lie. I didn't spend ages looking for it. So do let me know, because I thought this guy was going to tear up trees in this division. I really, really did. Not the case. Who the key player was, I went for Cameron Brannigan. Just, again, as someone who doesn't watch Oxford week in, week out, this man just seems to be the pillar in the middle of the pitch, scoring free kicks, setting goals up, working really hard defensively. Everything I love about a centre midfielder. So Cameron Brannigan for me, in a season that didn't end how you wanted it to end. I thought you'd stay up myself, but not the case. Cameron Brannigan, though, I think, and then another standout season from him. And then in terms of your best signing, I went for Luke Harris. Again, a loan signing coming in that I thought would just, hit the ground running, do very well. 17 games played, a lot of them off the bench, 1 goal scored. He went to Wycombe. And who was it? Well, I went for Will Lancashire on loan from Spurs. 12 goals, 2 assists. Very, very solid season. So in the terms of this one, Tyler Goodrum should have been that guy. Luke Harris, I got it right. I said it would be a loan player, right? Yeah, no, not really. So not really that close with this one here. And then for Portsmouth, well, in terms of key player predictions, I went for Josh Murphy. This is a tough one to take because 16 games played, injury-stricken season, 7 assists in those 16 games. If he'd have had a full season, I think he would have been, absolutely would have been the main man for Portsmouth. In terms of who it was, I've gone for Terry Devlin, who I thought had a very impressive season for Portsmouth. 40 games played, 5 goals, 1 assist, plays at right back. I just thought that on the surface of things, when you're looking for a consistent performer, he's the man for me. 40 games played as well, very, very consistent, a staple in that defensive line. And then in terms of the best signing, well, I actually think I got this spot on. I went for Segasic, and I believe it was Segasic. And you could maybe even argue as well that the departure of Josh Murphy for parts of the season, large parts of the season, allowed this man to come into his own. And as far as it goes for a first season in English football, very, very solid. A lot of potential, this lad. 11 goals, 5 assists. I really like him. I really do. I think he's got a lot of qualities that you want in your winger. So Segasic claims it for me. Again, I'd have been very right. I'd have been very right if Josh Murphy just had that full season. But, credit to Terry Devlin. And again, Portsmouth fans, is there someone better? Let me know in the comments. Now then, moving on, we've got Preston. And I think I got this one spot on key player-wise. Ben Whiteman, again, a bit of a Cameron Brannigan in the middle of the pitch, the heartbeat of a team. And I thought they're going to need him as well because I actually thought Preston could be in trouble this season. I really, really did. So Ben Whiteman, heartbeat of the team, he gets the key player for me. Now, in terms of who I actually thought the best new signing would be, well, I went for Thierry Small because I really felt as though this was a real coup from Preston. I thought, what have they said to him? Is the Spud Bros deal that big? What has they said to him to make him go to Preston? It's no disrespect to Preston, but I was looking at it thinking, surely there's a higher ceiling club that's looking for you. Take, for example, Coventry City, desperately needed a left back at the start of the season. I thought, why not Thierry Small? Fantastic, but no, not the case. He's still, he's had a decent season. 3 goals, 2 assists doesn't sound great, but he's been all right. But there was another man that took the limelight. On loan from my club, Aston Villa, Lewis Dobbin. 41 games played, 11 goals scored, 8 assists. What a fantastic season for him. He looks absolutely on fire as well. His future, up in the air. But any championship club that gets him, because let's be honest, he's not Champions League level, is he? He's not. But any championship club that gets him, you're in for a treat, because I think he actually has a very high ceiling. So Ben Whiteman, smashed it. Thierry Small, similar. I thought it would be a winger profile, but just not quite the right winger profile. Lewis Dobbin claiming their headlines. So we'll move on to Queen's Park Rangers now. So I thought it was going to be Jimmy Dunn. 40 games played, 3 goals, 3 assists, as he's literally holding up that as well. Look, this is the visuals we give you on this channel. This is the visuals. Cheers, Jimmy. But I don't think it actually was Jimmy Dunn that was the key player. I think he had a decent season for them, 100%. I think he had the most minutes played as well. So, again, another one of those heartbeat players. But I've actually gone for Nicholas Madsen. 39 games played, 3 goals, 6 assists. And look, even Kone's like, yes, Madsen. I don't know. I just think he was very, very good. I really do. I think he was a very good player for them. I think you could probably argue Jimmy Dunn still is the key player. I think you could. But I looked at Madsen and thought, I'm not just going to stat pad and just say I've got it right if I haven't. I want to be, clear and concise that this is correct. So Madsen gets it for me. Now, in terms of best new signing, Kwame Poku is who I went for. And I was very close to picking Richard Kone. Understandably, there was a lot of hype about QPR's transfer business. Kwame Poku, QPR fans, what's happened? Has he featured obviously 16 times, but what have his appearances been like? Is he coming on for the last couple of minutes? Get in the comments, let me know. I know he was injured, but I can't believe that this man has not done better. It was another one that I thought, like Charlie Kalman, surely it works. Surely it happens for him. But apparently not the case. And then Richard Kone, 11 goals, 2 assists. It's a decent first season in the Championship. I believe it is. And I think he'll only push on from this and grow. Now, it's a difficult one for him in terms of sort of next, because he's got to now put up realistically 15 plus goals, I'd say, and a few more assists. Will he do it next season? It depends on who he has playing around him. And I think it's a very important summer for QPR to get it right. But yeah, I think with this one, Jimmy Dunn has a shout of being it, so not quite there. And this one here, no, I should have gone for Richard Kone. I would have been right. I went for Kwame Poku. It was a coin toss decision, and I got it wrong. So there we go. Now then, moving on to Sheffield United, who I thought would just come outside the playoffs, who actually finished 13th, so finished mid-table. Now, in terms of who I thought their key player would be, I went for Ollie Arblaster. And I thought that, he showed a lot of promise previously. And I went against my better judgment to go for Gus Hamer, big Gus Hamer fan here. And I went for Arblaster. And it just hasn't quite happened for him this season. 22 games played, 1 assist. Not really good enough in comparison to the actual key player who played 37 times, 7 goals, 12 assists. Gustavo Hamer, what a player he is. So got that one wrong. It was a similar-ish position. I know Hamer plays out on the wing sometimes as well, but I've gone for centre mid. I backed the wrong horse. Again, similar to Kwame Poku and Richard Kone. Now, in terms of best new signing, well, I went for Louis Barry, who, as you can see, is in a Stockport shirt because he did, in fact, move on loan to Stockport halfway through the season after only playing 9 times, a lot of which off the bench. Louis Barry's a separate story because I just don't know what's going on here. I mean, is it the right club he needs to be at? Like, what? He hasn't been able to make that step to the Championship, and he's 22 years old now. So his time for Aston Villa looks like it will come to an end. Where he goes next, we'll have to see. But then who actually got the best new signing? Well, I went for Japhet Tanganga. Who else could I go for? Who else, Really, really solid for them. I just think he's a class defender. And even though it's not been great for Sheffield United at times this season, every time I've watched them play, if the whole team had given up at the start of the season or towards the end of the season, they needed that rock at the back, it was that man there. Tanganga, sensational season for Sheffield United. As we say, though, if he'd have stayed at Millwall, would he have got the job done? Crazy to think, isn't it? So we'll move on now to relegated Sheffield Wednesday. And key player prediction, I went for Barry Bannon. And understandably so. I went for Barry Bannon, the main man, the heartbeat of the team. Still played 30 times for them. 3 goals, 3 assists. You could maybe even make an argument that he could still be the key player, to be fair, because he's Mr. Sheffield Wednesday. Of course, did move on to Millwall. I get it. He obviously knew that the ship was sinking, didn't want to go down with it, wanted to just try and fight for the playoffs. And ultimately, well, it hasn't worked, has it? Because Millwall haven't gone up. Best new signing prediction, by the way, there was no signings at the time. Or if they were it was all youth players when I made this. So there was actually no one. It was Jerry Yates, questionably, maybe. 18 games, 4 goals. No one really deserves the crown at Sheffield Wednesday this year. I went for Jamal Lowe, 8 goal contributions in 48 games as the key player. Yeah, I just think one to forget for Sheffield Wednesday. Barry Bannon leaving was, it sort of fit the final nail in the coffin if it already wasn't decided. So, yeah, disappointing season for them. Southampton now, and we have got for the key player, I went for Cameron Archer as my prediction. And, man, this bothers me. This bothers me. I really thought Cameron Archer was going to be Will Steele's main man. And he was going to run that line at the top, poacher, hit 25, 30 goal season, just have that season that just catapults him to you're a Premier League player and you're playing in the Championship. And it just hasn't happened. I mean, I've been waiting for Cameron Archer for so long. Came onto the scene at Villa, was absolutely superb. So Southampton fans, what is it that you see? Whenever I see him play, he always looks lively, but for some reason can't get himself that starting position. Is it a training issue? I really don't know. But anyway, regardless, key player, I've actually gone for a new signing. I've gone for Finn Azaz. 46 games played, 11 goals, 7 assists. I think as a signing coming in, he has been instrumental for them. I love Finn Azaz. This is just like a little shrine to Villa at the top here. But I love Finn Azaz. Great player, technically fantastic, and has been superb for Southampton. And the reason why I've put him up here is because I wanted to go for a different new best signing. I went for Shea Charles. Came back from loan. I actually said, if anyone's confused, like, what the hell? He was already there. I actually said, it's like getting a new signing. It's like having a new signing coming back. He's that good and he's going to make that much of a difference for Southampton. And I think he did. I think he had a very good season. But Leo Senzia, what a player this guy is, by the way. What a player this guy is. I mean, Southampton went on that crazy run. He was instrumental in it, as was Finazaz, as was Shea Charles. But yeah, Leo Senzia, fantastic. Where he will go if Southampton don't go up, and we're not sure. I mean, I've seen Villa linked. It could be a full Villa trio here at some point. But yeah, with this one, Cameron Archer, I still stick by my prediction. I thought he would do so much better. Finazaz, always going to be up there. Consistent performer. Shea Charles, I think, to be honest with you, I think I got that right in terms of, he's in the top 1, 2 or 3. And then Leo Senzia, though, he does take the crown. But I was close on this one. Right then, moving on to Stoke City. Now, my key player prediction was going to be Victor Johansson. 8 clean sheets for him, not goals, clean sheets. And an assist as well. And in 25 games, very, very solid. He is a fantastic goalkeeper. I was astonished that he actually said he was going to stay at the club. Genuinely, I did not see that coming. I thought that video that Stoke put out, if you haven't seen it, it's basically him like... my time has come to an end. It just feels like he's leaving, then he signs a contract. We'll have to see how that goes for him. Stoke, though, ambitious club, lots of money. But in terms of who it actually was, it's Sorba Thomas. Came in this season, 21 goal contributions, 47 games. He's the best new signing, and he is the key player as well. So Victor Johansson, close in this regard. If he'd have played a full season, I think he could have rivaled him. I really do. But Ashley Phillips was who I thought the best new signing was going to be. I think, he's come back on loan to Stoke. I thought he's going to be able to hit that ground running. Knows the club already. Yeah, he was all right, wasn't he? Just not on the level of impact that Sorba Thomas has made. And it's always going to be difficult from a winger to a centre-back to judge actual, how well have they done. Ashley Phillips, a good player, good seeing, but Sorba Thomas has stole the show for Stoke this season. Now then, moving on, we've got Swansea City. Can just about see their badge. But in terms of who the key player I thought was going to be, is Josh Tymon. Big fan of Josh Tymon. 10 assists, 1 goal, 50 games for Swansea this season. He and Vipotnik have been absolute consistency for them. So it was Vipotnik. Of course it was. 25 goals, 3 assists. What a season for Zan Vipotnik. But I still think this Josh Tymon shout needs to be respected because he has still he's had a fantastic season. He really has. A big fan of Josh Tymon. But yeah, Vipotnik, it was always going to be him. 25 goals on their own is insane. Add the 3 assists as well. I mean, you've got, unfortunately for Josh Tymon, you've got a potential for player of the club for the season, and you've got a player of the league for the season. It's always going to be Vipotnik that gets the win. Now, best new signing, I think I got this spot on. Ethan Galbraith for Swansea came in, and position-wise, I believe he's played right back. But I also say this man could quite literally play anywhere. He's like the Championship James Milner. You can stick him on the wing, up front, centre-back, right back, left back, centre-mid, wherever you want to do it, and he'll do a job for you. So, very solid season for Ethan Galbraith, and I do think that he was the best signing. But again, if there is a better one, let me know in the comments. Now we'll move on to Watford as we are coming to the end. Now, this one really surprised me. So in terms of my key player prediction, it was Georgie Chakvadze. 29 games, no goals, 3 assists. Astonished, to be honest. Astonished, because I really thought that, he is the sort of like the keys to the engine. And maybe if he'd have played better, and, I'm assuming with 29 games played that he had injuries, but if he'd have played better when he did play, Watford could have pushed for the playoffs, because the man to the left of him, Imran Louza, what a player this man is. Unbelievable player. Proper, like genuinely, I don't know why I slept on him. Because he is superb. He's absolutely class. So he came in with 17 goal contributions from centre midfield. Really good season. But yeah, just Chakvadze never got up to speed. So this one was absolutely miles wrong. And in terms of best new signing, this was hard to justify for Watford. I went for Nestor Irankudu, and I could have also maybe done him as best signing because he is a class player. However, I've gone for Mark Bowler because I just feel as though his impact, his solidness at left back, it was there to be seen. But again, neither of these two players tore up trees, but Mark Bowler, out of all of the new signings, probably just stands out that bit extra. Iran Kudu had those amazing moments, the free kick goal, the long range shots. I believe he's actually in the top, not like the top 1% of people to shoot in the championship, and that probably won't surprise many people. But yeah, do I think Iran Kudu will turn out to be a great signing? Absolutely. But at the same time, this season, he's not done enough to justify. The numbers needed to be higher. 8 goal contributions in 42 games. It needed to be higher. So that's Watford there. Very, very wrong. Very wrong in terms of Watford. Moving on now to West Brom. Now, West Brom fans, don't come at me. Obviously, my prediction was Tom Fellows. He went to Southampton. So forget Tom Fellows in that regard. Isaac Price. Now, a lot of West Brom fans seem to think Isaac Price is very overrated. Lads, I can't help it. Every time I watch his play, he seems to put in a masterclass. So obviously the times I'm not watching, fair enough. But every time I watch, he's the main man, runs the show. So how could I not pick him? How could I not pick him? Genuinely, looks, just everything about him is just a proper player. So he managed to bet himself 9 goals, 3 assists. Not great, but look at where they finished. 21st in the league. It's not good enough. So completely wrong because Tom Fellows left the club. Now, in terms of the best new signing, I went for Orn Hegebo. 14 goal contributions in 48 games. Not too bad. This isn't too far off. There is an argument where some people might even say, yeah, you know, I've actually got him. I've got him as our best new signing. But in actual fact, I've gone for Nat Phillips because I just feel as though, again, and maybe it's because it's only ever when I'm watching, but he's been very solid. A very solid defender. Slots in the middle of the defence and just is very good. So I just edged it more to Nat Phillips. And again, West Brom have had to do a fair bit more defending. I've seen Hegebo miss chances. I've seen Hegebo not really be able to cut it at the big moments where you need him most. Whereas Nat Phillips, consistency, reliable, very, very solid defender. And lastly, we've got Wrexham. And I think this one's pretty self-explanatory. My key player prediction was Lewis O'Brien. The rest is Josh Windass. Lewis O'Brien, by the way, good season, good player, 4 goals, 6 assists, 45 games, consistent, fantastic. Yep, well done, Lewis. Moving on to the main man, Josh Windass. What a player he is, by the way. 17 goals, 6 assists. He's fantastic, isn't he? He's absolutely fantastic. And he's stole the whole show for me. He really has. I know Callum Doyle's come in and done well. I don't care. Josh Windass is the reason that Wrexham nearly got into the playoffs. What a season it has been for Josh Windass. And he'll be doing the exact same thing next season. Mark my words. So we're finishing on Wrexham. It's the most obvious one out the lot. Josh Windass takes the awards. And I was very correct here. And I should have just put him up there as well. I should have done. So overall, I'd say there's a few shockers. But I've come very close with a lot of these. And it was very interesting to look back on and see how close I did get. But as I say, if you think I've got one wrong or you think there's a better option or whatever it is, get in the comments. Do let me know. Always love reading the comments. But yeah. That is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button. We've got so much more content to come. I cannot wait to bring it to you. If you want to see this for League 1 and League 2 and the Premier League, get in the comments as well. Do let me know. And yeah, that's it, lads. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, I will catch you on the next one.